Hello and welcome to the second installment of Gun Control in the United States by POL242 Gaza 2013. This video was made for the univariate statistics and crosstab analysis homework. The dependent variable for this study is support for gun control legislation. The question was selected from the American National Election Survey. The question directly asks whether or not people support gun control legislation, and the exact wording of the question is in the slide. The values have been recoded so that the chart runs from support of gun control legislation to outright rejection of gun control legislation with missing data below that. The missing data category itself is made up of those who responded with don't know or prefer not to answer, because these values do not provide us with any information relevant to the topic at hand. None of this recoding involves any kind of ranking, leaving us with a nominal level variable. Therefore, the only measure of central tendency worth looking at would be the mode. The mode clearly shows us that the most common response was in favor of stronger gun control laws. More interesting are the skew and kurtosis values. The skew is positive, indicating a tendency towards support for gun control, while the kurtosis is negative, indicating a fairly flat distribution. This clearly shows that most people are either happy with the current state of affairs or would prefer harsher gun control regulations. Very few individuals would like to see guns easier to acquire in the United States, likely because of the prevalence of gun crime in that country, as compared with other industrialized states. In Robert Singh's paper, Gun Control in America, he states that most gun crimes in the United States involve minority groups. Thus, my first hypothesis is that non-white individuals will be more in favor of harsher gun control laws because such laws would reduce gun crime in their communities. Therefore, my first independent variable is race. This has been broken down into two categories, whites and non-whites. My second hypothesis is based on a paper written by Selinska, in which she states that those who self-identify as Republicans are less likely to support gun control legislation. Thus, the second independent variable is political affiliation. Cross-tabulating the dependent variable with the first independent variable yields interesting results. The Kramer's V value is just above the accepted level of correlation, yet the lambda value is extremely low. This indicates that the two variables are likely independent of each other. Cross-tabulating the dependent variable with the second independent variable yields a stronger correlation. The Kramer's V value indicates a moderate correlation, and the lambda value is high enough to substantiate this. In both cases, Kramer's V and lambda were used because they apply to nominal variables being compared with nominal variables. The independent variable of the first hypothesis was found to be only very weakly correlated to the dependent variable. Thus, we can say that it is a weak hypothesis. This does not deviate from the literature as such, because nowhere in Singh's paper does he say anything similar to the hypothesis. As for the second hypothesis, the independent variable was found to be moderately correlated to the dependent variable. We can therefore say that the hypothesis is strong and that political self-identification matters in terms of gun control legislation. In conclusion, political self-identification matters more than race in terms of support for gun control legislation. What does this say about the Grand Old Party? Their supporters certainly have a more gun-oriented culture than the Democrats. As gun crime is an extremely prevalent issue in the United States, their best course of action would be to tighten laws regarding gun control, but this will likely be a difficult type of legislation to enact, as the Republicans have a strong power base. Further research could involve variables other than race to broaden our understanding of support for gun control legislation. Maybe social class is a better indicator for the problems raised in Robert Singh's paper.